Namaste and a very good evening to all of you. I welcome you to my channel, The Outlier. My name is Mithun. In today's video, I'll be talking about some of the basic features of Tableau. Even before I get started with talking about some of the basic features in Tableau, may I request you to subscribe to my channel, also like and share my videos. Firstly, what exactly is Tableau? Tableau is a business intelligence software. I repeat, it's a business intelligence software. It is widely used in academics, in research institutes, as well as in the industry. It allows us to create various charts. Gartner rated Tableau to be one of the most powerful and most sought after BI tools. There are many useful features in Tableau which we will be looking at. But even before I show you some of the features in Tableau, may I introduce you to the data set that we will be working on in today's episode. As you can see here, this is the data set that I will be working on for today's presentation. This data set is called as the sample superstore data set. This is one of the sample files provided in Tableau. I have deleted most of the variables and I have retained only 4 variables which are necessary for analysis. This involves customer transaction details. The first variable in this data set is customer ID. Then we have the city and the state, and also we have the sales in dollars which the customer spends. I like to import this particular data set into Tableau. After loading this particular data set in Tableau, we will see some of the interesting visualizations that Tableau allows us to do. From Excel, let me now move on to Tableau. So this is the initial screen that you are able to see in Tableau. As you can see here, it says connect and it gives you different options here. You can import a file from Microsoft Excel, text file. You can also load a JSON file. You can load data from Microsoft Access or a PDF file or some of the other formats. Right now, what I'm using is what is called as Tableau Public. Obviously, this will have limited features. I will not be able to connect to, let's say, SQL or Oracle database. Let's begin with the first item. How do we load an Excel sheet into Tableau? It is pretty easy to load any Excel sheet into Tableau. To load a file, you can just click on the option Microsoft Excel. We are connecting to Microsoft Excel. A new window pops up. In this particular window, it shows all the files that I have. I will be choosing the file sample superstore. Once you select this particular file, you can click on the option open. You can see here, now the screen changes. This is the sample superstore file which I'll be working on. There are multiple sheets in this particular data set. Now, Tableau is asking me which of the sheets do you want to load. As you can see here, it gives you a suggestion saying drag tables here. I will be working on the table orders. So let me drag and drop this particular option into tables. As you can see here, the moment I drag and drop the variables, Tableau displays the 4 columns which you saw earlier, like customer ID, city, state, and sales. There are 4 fields. What is the sample size in this data set? We have a sample size of 9,994 records. Once you have loaded this data set, what is the next thing that we need to do? Tableau gives a suggestion. This is very user-friendly and easy for even laymen to pick up, because Tableau at every stage helps us with what is the action that we need to perform after a particular step. Let me choose the option go to worksheet. I'll be choosing the option sheet 1. In sheet 1, you can see here to the left side pane, you have what is called as the data pane. You also have what is called as the analytics pane. Under the data pane, you can see 2 different sections of variables. These are popularly called as dimensions. What are dimensions now? Dimensions are simply categorical variables. I repeat, in Tableau, we use the word dimensions for categorical variables. In your data set, if you have variables like gender, marital status, region, state, city, all these are variables which have categories, and therefore they can be called as categorical variables. In the second half, you see what are called as measures. These measures are also popularly referred to as scale variables. You can take any of the variables like sales, price, distance, height, weight, length. All these are variables which have units. You can perform any arithmetic operations on these variables. I have got one variable which is a measure variable, namely state, and I've got variables like state and city which are dimension variable. You see a lot of options here in Tableau. You see what is called as pages, filters, marks card. Then you also see columns and rows. What are these? These are popularly referred to as shelves. So this is a column shelf where you can drag and drop those variables which you want to see along the column. Similarly, you have the row shelf wherein you can drag and drop a variable along the row. Further, you have the pages shelf, filters, marks card. Under the marks card, you can see the color shelf, sizes, text, details, tooltip. We'll be talking about some of these items in this particular video. What is very, very useful is to the extreme right side, you can see the option called as Show Me. The moment I click on Show Me, Tableau highlights some of the graphs that are available. Since I've not selected any variable, Tableau has not highlighted any particular graph. Now, let's begin by creating a simple table, and you will see how user-friendly Tableau is. It's very, very easy to use Tableau. I have the variable city, and you can see the icon here. It says it is geographical variable. I want to change the role of the variable city to none. I just want to treat this as a categorical variable. So let me just right click, choose the variable geographic role, and here I will choose none. I will do the same thing for state. Even before I work with state, you can see here the icon has changed. Now this is the representation for a categorical variable. You can see the icon next to state. There is a globe symbol indicating that Tableau is reading state as a geographical indicator. To change the role, I'll simply right click, choose the option geographic role and select none. Once you've made these changes, you are ready to construct a few graphs. I have this particular dimension variable. All that I'm going to do is drag this and drop it to the row shelf. You can see here, the moment I drag this variable and drop it under the row shelf, all the city that was present in the Excel sheet gets highlighted here. We have not selected any scale variable. We have not selected any measure variable, and therefore Tableau is not doing any analysis at this stage. What I want to do is, let's say I want to check the sales city-wise. So I have got the variable sales. Let me drag this and drop it here. The moment I drag this and drop it, you can see here what Tableau does is it reports city-wise sales information. Further, if I just hover the mouse on any of these values, Tableau gives a description. For example, the recorded sales in Alexandria is $5,520. If you want to do any additional analysis, you can do this as well. How do you sort of change from a simple table to an exciting graph? This is where Show Me option comes into picture. To the right side, you can see all the recommended graphs that Tableau displays. Tableau says a horizontal bar chart is appropriate, but you might want to experiment with some of the other charts as well. So you can see the appropriate or the most relevant graphs for our data, also the recommended graph. When I move the cursor on this particular clustered bar chart, you can see recommended, which means Tableau is recommending that I use a clustered bar chart. So let me just go ahead and choose the clustered bar chart. Now you can see here that the view itself has changed. The graph has changed. earlier you could see a table which is pretty dull and boring. And if I want to change this tabular representation to a exciting bar chart, all that I need to do is click on this horizontal bar chart. Now what you're able to see is a horizontal bar chart. Now there are many cities, and therefore you perhaps have to look at different bars to check what is the value of sales. The question is, can we sort this particular graph? Can we sort it either in ascending order or descending order? This is where the sort option comes into picture. If you can hover the mouse on this particular option, there's a very interesting icon here which says sort ascending by sum of sales within city. Let me click on this particular option. The moment you click on this particular option, what Tableau does is it sorts the graph based on the ascending order of sales. You're not able to see much here because there are no sales that have been recorded in these cities. You see tiny bars as I scroll down. Further, when I scroll completely below, you can see here New York City is the one which has the highest sales, followed by Los Angeles and Seattle. So these are the three cities wherein we have seen the highest number of sales. This is what happens when we sort it based on ascending order. Now, instead of ascending order, why not choose to sort it by descending order? All that I need to do is click on this particular icon which says sort by descending. Let me scroll right to the top. You can see here, this is the horizontal bar chart which tells us what is the city-wise sales, and all the cities which have recorded the highest sales are being displayed at the top. So this is how sorting is so simple. So far what we have seen is just by dragging a variable and dropping it into the canvas to the right side, we will be able to convert a table. Using the show me option, we can look at the recommended chart recommended by Tableau. Further, right now what you're seeing is a blue color. In case you want to edit from blue to any other color, you can choose the option color here. From the color shelf, let me click on this particular option color. Let's say I want to change this into green. All that you need to do is change it to green or orange respectively. You can see here now the color of the graph has changed. You see orange color bars everywhere. Now, what if you want to change the color one for each city? All that you need to do is drag and drop this variable city to the color shelf. Let's just see what happens when I drag and drop the variable city to the color shelf. You can see here, you have got different colors for different city. Let me just do this again. You earlier had the representation of the graph in this format. If I want to change the color, one color per city, all that I need to do is drag the variable city and drop it into the color shelf. You can see here the legend wherein Tableau highlights what is the color that it has used for each city. So this is how it's so simple to play with colors in Tableau. Further, if you want to see the sales value corresponding to each city, you can choose the option label. The very first option here is show mark labels. So let me just choose the option show mark labels. You can see here Tableau displays what is the sales in New York City, followed by what is the sales in Los Angeles. The sales in Los Angeles is 1,75,851. Similarly, in Seattle, it is 1,19,541. If you want to change the display and want to visualize in a presentation mode, there's an icon here which says presentation mode. All that you need to do is click on the presentation mode, and Tableau displays the same graph in a presentation mode. You can also see the legend here for each and every city. If you want to come out of the presentation mode, all that you need to do is click on the escape button. So we have seen what is the difference between dimensions and measures, how to change the role of a particular variable, the tabular representation of data, what is the use of the show me option, how do you sort the data based on ascending and descending order. We've also seen how to change the color. Further, let's say you want to switch the position. That is, right now what you have is you have the variable city along the row and you have total sales along the column. If you want to switch the position, that is from a horizontal bar chart, let us say you want to convert this into a vertical bar chart. How do you convert from a horizontal bar chart to a vertical bar chart? You can see here there's an icon which says swap rows and columns. By using the variable, by using this particular feature, swap rows and columns, you will be able to convert a horizontal bar chart to vertical bar chart. You can see now what is being displayed by Tableau is a vertical bar chart. Let's say you change your mind and you want to go back to a horizontal bar chart. You can choose the option swap rows and columns. We are getting back our old representation here. One very, very useful feature is the filter shelf. This particular option is extremely useful. You may ask me, how is this shelf useful? As the name itself suggests, filters. Let us say you don't want to see the bar chart for all the regions. You want to see it specifically for a few regions. So how do you use the filter option to showcase the chart specifically for a few states only? Let me drag and drop this particular variable into the filter shelf. You can see here, the moment I drag and drop the variable state onto the filters dialog box opens up, wherein it shows all the states that are available in your data set. If you're specifically interested in few states, like let's say Arizona or California or Connecticut, you can choose only these 3 states. Or if you want to choose all the states, please click on the option all. And then you can choose the option apply and click on OK. This is how filters option is very, very useful. Now, there's one more interesting thing that you can do with filters, which is to simply click on the filters option. Here, you can choose the second item which says show filter. I repeat, you can show filter. Let me go ahead and click on the option show filter. You can see here, there is a dialog box that appears in the canvas to the right side. I'll remove the option all and I will choose only the state of California. You can see here, this particular visualization is now applicable only for California. So what you're seeing is the cities in California and the distribution of sales for the state of California only. So you can see here in the state of California, the cities Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Diego have recorded the highest sales. Now, instead of California, let us say you want to select, you want to choose the cluster, you want to change the clustered bar chart and want to see the sales distribution for the state of Florida. So please make sure that you select Florida, remove the option of California. You can see here the visualization completely changes. Now this visualization is applicable only for Florida. Further, if you want to see the representation of the graph only for Georgia, please make sure that you select Georgia and unclick Florida in the filter option. So in Georgia, you can see Atlanta, Columbus, and Roswell, which have recorded the highest sales. So this is how filters option is very, very useful because it allows us to change the representation either for all the states or for specifically those states that we are interested in. So with this, we have seen how the filter option works. The next thing that I'd like to show is how do you showcase only the top performing cities. I'll repeat, how do you display those cities which are showing the highest sales? Let's say if you want to filter by only the top 5 cities which have the highest sales, what you can do is you can choose the option rows. Within rows, you can choose the option edit filter, or you can just choose the option select show filter. Sorry, I've got this variable filter here. In city, I will choose the option edit filter. Let me choose the option edit filter. We have already looked into the general tab. Now I'll go to the option top. I want Tableau to display only the first 5 cities. So instead of 10, I'll be choosing the option 5. So top 5 cities by sales. If you want, you can choose a different statistic. Let us say instead of showing total sales, you can choose the option average sales. Now what this does is it displays the graph only for the top 5 cities rather than all the cities. Let me click on apply and then OK. You can see here the top 5 cities which have recorded the highest sales. Again, in case you want to further filter this by a specific state, let me ignore city. Let me go to state and let me choose California here. Once I click on California, you can see there's only one city which has the highest sales here. Like this, you can see how easy Tableau is when it comes to working with filters, sorting, how you can swap the position of the rows and columns, how you can interchange the role of a particular variable. In this particular video, what we have seen is we've seen how to load the data set. We've seen the difference between dimensions and measures. We have seen how to convert a variable from one data type to another. We have seen how a clustered bar chart works. Further, we've seen how to sort the data by ascending as well as descending order, how you can change the color of the graph. Further, we went on to see how we can swap the position of rows to columns and vice versa. With this, I have come to the end of today's video. I thank you very much for watching this particular video. In case you have liked this video, please subscribe to my channel. Also like and share my videos. Thank you very much for watching this video. Have a